What's up, webheads and super nerds? This is the Infinite Universe Podcast, episode number 9. I'm your host, John, aka J Days, here with my trusty sidekick, Ben Metlis. Say what up.
What up?
And in this podcast, we round up and dissect the internet and give you a fun and geeky conversation on all things superhero related. We're about to have a lot of fun discussing several topics, including the new Spider-Man video game for PS4.
We also talk about the Captain Marvel teaser trailers and got a bunch of DC news.
Yeah.
But first, let's announce the winner for our latest giveaway, the Blu-ray of Avengers Infinity War.
Yep, congrats to Awesome Sauce 98. Yo, I love the name, by the way.
Yeah, me too,
Awesome
actually.
Sauce 98.
I thought that also.
You're our lucky random subscriber. You now have 30 days to email us at infiniteuniversepodcast@gmail.com with your name, contact number, and address, and we're going to ship you out your very own copy of Avengers Infinity War, a must-have for any fan's collection. Okay, Ben Metlis Grimm, are you ready to quantum dive into it?
It's clobbering time.
All right, we got a lot to talk about. Honestly, I thought September was going to be kind of boring, but it turns out there was a lot of news, and I'm actually really excited for this. All right, it finally hit us. We got it. The Captain Marvel trailer. Ben, what'd you think?
I got excited for Captain Marvel ever since that they announced Brie Larson as the main character, and also since the Easter egg at the end of Infinity War.
Oh yeah,
it's got me hyped.
Yeah, I definitely got hyped by the pager icon at the end of Infinity War.
Next spring's gonna be awesome.
Brie Larson, I really don't know much about the actress. She's beautiful and looks super dope in that suit. The suit looks awesome. So that, that was one of the first things that I noticed about it. I'm pretty excited for it. Again, this was only a teaser trailer, so I wasn't actually like...
It gave us a lot, though.
Yeah, I wasn't... You know what, though? I think I was hoping for, like, I don't know. I think my expectations are so high for this that basically what I'm trying to say is the trailer didn't blow me away, but I'm excited.
See, I'm completely opposite. The trailer for me definitely blew away. I feel like it gave a lot more than I was expecting. Hopefully not too much. Shows Jude Law, who plays Marvel.
Yep.
Kind of shows her in her old outfit that we know
as
from the comics.
Pilot,
yes,
right?
exactly.
Oh, and the old,
and even the original costume,
yes,
with like the
old
Mohawk
costume,
thing.
yes,
like yeah,
the one where she's wearing like the helmet.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
Nice. That's cool.
Like, we got to see the Skrulls. We got to see Ronan the Accuser. I enjoyed the part where she punches the old lady in the face. I really hope that was a Skrull she punched.
You know it's gonna be, unless
the movie's gonna take a dark turn.
Unless this
is
some old woman who owes her money. You know what I mean? Like, but you actually, now that you say that, you're absolutely right. They are throwing a lot of elements that fans are probably gonna enjoy from the comics, so that's cool. Let's see. We got to see a little bit more Coulson and Fury. Yeah. I heard this is the first time that they're going to meet in the storyline of the Marvel Universe. So that's cool. I'm excited for that.
Well, that's like a friendship that I would like to really understand more of. The history behind Coulson. Now, I heard Nick Fury. This is a Nick Fury who's lower down in the Order of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, 100%.
So
he's not the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. right now.
He looks like almost like a cop.
Yeah, or just, I don't know, entry level
desk clerk,
S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. One thing that I did notice, because I'm a nerd like that, I would pause the trailer and look at it scene by scene. There was this one scene where you see Nick Fury, and he actually has like something over his eye. He's like holding his eye. He's sitting down. They're in like an autopsy room, and it looks like
he's injured.
Yeah, just after he lost the eye. And on the table is what looks like a human, but what I'm gonna suspect
Is
is
a scroll.
it's going to be an autopsy, and that's where they slice it open and see that there's a scroll underneath.
Oh, that
so
would be.
that I'm really excited.
That's crazy. I'd also like to see how Nick Fury lost his eye.
Yeah,
that'd be interesting to add that.
And if you remember, he said the story that he lost the eye. The last time he trusted someone, he lost an eye, right?
And I guess that person that he trusted must have been a scroll in real life.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking. So that's going to be pretty cool. Yeah, we got the Marvel character who is going to mix his blood with hers.
In the comic, that's how it happens. But I'm sure what this is like, maybe they infuse their power together, or he must pass something on to her.
You know what I'm thinking? Do you know that scene where she's upside down and she's getting those beams in her head? What if they're putting his consciousness in her or something like that, and maybe she gets his powers, and then that's why she has these flashbacks of this war? Maybe I don't know. I'm just kind of like thinking this might be a wild movie. You know, it might be out of the norm.
Yeah.
Of the other Marvel movies that we've seen.
It's going to be very non-linear. I think it's going to jump back and forth and make us guess what time frames we're watching.
Yeah,
I think
it's going to be like, is this in present? Is this in the past?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, I'm for it. That sounds pretty cool. What else you got?
Yeah, and also we're going to see Ronan the Accuser, who actually was a cool villain in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, we see him in this teaser trailer, so that was cool. We see a shot of him with Marvel, so...
Now, do you think he's going to be a major character, or do you think he's just going to make an appearance to try to... Because obviously he has to survive.
Interesting. All right, so... That's the Captain Marvel trailer. I'm in for it. Ben's super excited about it. I'm sure by the time we get the next trailer and the next podcast up, I'll have a lot more enthusiasm for this film. But let's talk about some other interesting news that we just got, Ben. DC is hitting us with some very... I don't know, just they're good and bad. Let's start with, I guess, I don't know how you take this. Is this good or bad?
Rest in peace, DCU.
Or let's just say, yeah, rest in peace, Superman, because Henry Cavill is leaving the role. Apparently, he's out. So rumor is, and from what I've gathered from the interwebs, he feels like he's being underpaid for this role as Superman. He wanted his own standalone movie again, and they keep throwing him in all this other stuff. And in fact, they wanted to throw him in as a cameo in Shazam, because there is actually a pretty interesting storyline that takes place in the comics where Superman comes in and talks to Shazam. And anyway, they wanted to do this in this new movie that we're gonna get, and apparently he didn't want to do it, or they didn't want to pay him. Well, I'm not sure, but I think he's out.
Now, can I tell you something about Henry Cavill? That, like, it's kind of funny that he thinks he's being underpaid, because I think he's being overpaid.
He doesn't have to talk much.
I liked him in Mission Impossible in anything. He's not that good of an actor. Like, you know, he was a handsome guy that was perfect for this. He looks like Superman.
That's what I was going to say. He just has the look. I don't think his acting was that great.
No, it's not that great at all.
Superman... I don't know. Always to me, I've never been a big
supposed
Superman.
To be more empathetic.
I was never a big
no
Superman fan from many of the portrayals of him, because I've never. He's always seemed very
There's nothing really interesting about a character that can't die.
That too, yeah.
Like, you know, that can't. Like, there's. The thing with other superheroes is there's at least something that can destroy them. But Superman, like, what? A glowing green rock that comes from another planet? That's his only weakness?
Between this portrayal and the last guy who did him, I forgot the guy who plays Adam in
Legends of Tomorrow.
In Legends, neither of those Supermen, like, they were the same thing. They were like watching drywall. It was like drywall fly. Like, there wasn't any emotional attachment to those characters as a fan, at least from my perspective.
There's never been a more emotionally attached Superman since the original.
Yeah. And even that, like, compared to some other superheroes, especially current ones, I feel is not the same kind of connection a fan and the love of a character on screen portrays.
Well,
You think? Or
maybe.
am I off here?
No, you're absolutely right. But maybe we'll have more of a connection with a name that's been thrown around. Now, we can't confirm if this is like official. Possibly Michael B. Jordan is being looked at for the new Superman.
He could definitely reach the fans' heartstrings.
I think so.
In movies,
he could bring a much more emotionally attached character that we can be vested into.
I'm in for it. All right, so let me ask you this: is the DCU dead?
Well, that's a hard question because especially now that not only is Batman out, but Superman's out. Like, you have a movie called Superman versus Batman that's supposed to be part of the DCU, but the two main characters are gone.
Aren't even in it.
It's like, how do you really
How do you bounce back from that?
Yeah, it's very hard.
So they're going, obviously, Aquaman's coming out later this year, and we're getting Wonder Woman 2, and then we're supposed to be getting Flash, and so to answer your question, how do they do that? I guess a Flashpoint movie?
Mess it up with time.
Time, altering time somehow.
But didn't we discuss on the on a previous podcast that they decided to not go with that storyline?
I think, dude, they're just throwing
they don't have a choice.
Shit at the wall and seeing what sticks because, and at this point, all right, it was one major actor, Ben Affleck, leaving. Okay, you could figure it out.
You could bounce back from that, and they had that with the Hulk
and it's
in
the
MCU.
two most iconic ones, right? Like, who gives a F about Aquaman, honestly? And Wonder Woman, yeah, she's iconic, but not as iconic as Batman or Superman.
No.
You know, definitely iconic, but just not, maybe on that level. But
this is the equivalent of if Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans decided not to do any more movies
not to do Avengers
Age of
4.
Ultron.
Oh, yeah.
Or like after Age of Ultron, they're like, all right, we're leaving. It's like you can't bounce back from
having new actors for Civil War,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like, how bad would that have been?
That movie would not have been as good as it was.
Exactly.
And Infinity War wouldn't have been as good as it was.
All right, so the way that they can maybe fix this mess is with the Flashpoint reboot, which I guess, and again, going back to a previous podcast, I said, why the hell would they do this story first? And I was kind of like hating on it. Now, I guess if they wanted to save whatever does work, this would be the only way to do it. So I guess
unless they do a hard reboot and they just start from scratch.
But they wouldn't start from. They're not going to get rid of Wonder Woman. They're not going to get rid of.
No, they're not going to get rid of Gal Gadot.
Yeah, they're not going to do it. I could see them maybe getting rid of Aquaman. Listen, Aquaman doesn't look like it's going to be good. I don't know. So
I'm not excited for it.
What they should do though is just say, all right, this isn't working, and stop making all the other movies and just maybe make one more Wonder Woman movie.
A hard reboot.
No, just one more Wonder Woman movie, do like a trilogy, wrap it up, and then a hard reboot.
And then a hard reboot.
Yeah.
But what if, and this is a really out-of-the-box idea, what if now a part of the Flashpoint storyline is that Aquaman and Wonder Woman fall in love? And Aquaman scorns Wonder Woman because he decides to stay with his wife, who Wonder Woman kills Aquaman's wife in order to like have him, which then starts a war between the Amazonians and the mermen. So what if they like kind of went into like a weird storyline with that, and that involved like Aquaman and Wonder Woman, and then you brought Flash into it? That fucks everything up for everyone. Like, maybe.
But it doesn't really look like they're going that route. With
no, they're
Aquaman,
not going to go that route. But because if they introduce Wonder Woman in this Aquaman movie, it could be interesting. Or vice versa.
They're not doing it.
No, it's an out of the box idea, but that would be a way that they could salvage everything. But they're not going to do that. I agree with you. What's going to happen is they're just going to do Wonder Woman 2 and then a hard reboot after. They're going to recast.
Or like I said, do maybe one more Wonder Woman. Like Wonder Woman 3. To do a trilogy, because if Wonder Woman 2 does good, and
of course they're gonna want to bank on that.
Let's do one more and give it because that kind of seems to be a pattern with some of these superhero movies that they'll do like a trilogy. Maybe
Iron Man 3, like
yes,
they did,
exactly, or Batman.
Which the third one generally doesn't do well if you look at history. Like,
But let's just say, they do that and then a hard reboot. I wouldn't be mad about it. It was all I can see them doing that. But one actor that they had been talking about, again, you know, besides Michael B. Jordan being thrown out there for Superman, I did hear John Hamm a couple times, some other podcasts and some other articles. I could see him as a good Bruce Wayne. I don't know if I necessarily see him as a Batman.
He's got a Michael Keaton kind of like charm and hilarity to
definitely,
him.
I
So
agree
I
there.
think that we always got to remember Michael Keaton wasn't really cared for when he was cast as Batman. So
True.
John Hamm would be.
Well, I wasn't old enough to remember that tidbit
No,
about.
I read reviews because I wasn't old
Keaton
enough
was
either.
an awesome Batman, in my opinion.
Well, we grew
Anyway,
up with him.
So those are movies that they may or may not be making, and actors who are leaving. But let's talk about what they are going to make next. So we're not going to get another Batman, it seems, and we're not going to get another Superman, but we are going to get a Supergirl movie, Ben, and apparently Brainiac as the villain. What do you think about that?
Well, are they going to have the Supergirl from the CW show? Probably not.
I think you can answer that question because if they didn't have the Barry Allen from the CW, the one who's loved by like everyone from a tween girl to 40-year-old men who collected dusty old comic books, they're not going to do that. And they're not casting that cute girl, I forget her name, the actress, but I do like her. I don't really watch Supergirl, but once in a while I do catch it, and I don't mind her as Supergirl. I think she's a good
She's
Supergirl.
cool in the crossover episodes.
I love when she's written in cool crossover episodes. The first season of Supergirl was on another network, so like the tone of it was definitely a little different than when it went over to CW. But anyway, am I for it?
Maybe
I
this
just
is
feel
their
like-
maybe this is their hard reboot. What if Supergirl is their hard reboot?
But that's where we're starting though, Supergirl. And then what, introduce new Superman?
Or maybe they'll introduce someone else like Green Lantern.
Good luck.
The only thing I have to say, I hope Warner Brothers learned from their mistakes and doesn't make the same mistake from the past. Do not rush a franchise series with like 2 side movies and then do the team up movie right after. These movies
A bunch of out of touch executives who don't know much about the content of the subject matter that they're trying to make money off of.
But they did
throwing
good.
in their ideas.
They did
I
a
don't know
good
if
job
that's
with the
not
Harry
gonna
Potter
happen.
series. So they did a great job with the
Yeah,
Harry
but that's
Potter
because
series.
I feel J.K. Rowling, I think she like demanded like this is what it's gonna be, and if it isn't, then you're not doing this.
Well, then they need to get DC creators in there to have more voice. They need their Kevin Feige. They need their Kevin Feige for this. And
all right,
someone else.
I'll agree with you on that. But let's talk about what is about to happen,
Ooh.
and I am excited for this. The Joker movie.
Yeah.
We got this little video teaser. I don't even know what you call it. I just saw it
It was
on
a
my
promotional
Instagram.
material.
And it looked so sinister though, and it got me so excited for this Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie. He looks like a weirdo, bro.
It's very John Wayne Gacy
Yes.
makeup. Very John Wayne Gacy makeup.
It wasn't the clown makeup
It's a
I was expecting,
non-traditional Joker.
but one that I'm super
Yeah.
excited for. Dude, I think this is gonna be a dark and effing twisted.
I feel like it's going to be the
version of a
Batman
Joker.
Begins of the Joker series. Like, or
Interesting,
even not even a Joker series, just a standalone. Remember when Batman Begins gave like that almost real life aspect to the Batman storyline?
Yeah. The people that they have cast for this too, you know what I mean? And Zazie Beetz has a good track record.
Yeah. She's a young actress with a
for-
new
for-
career that
for-
started off with a bang.
So I think with what I've seen, just these little pictures, but you were about to drop something that I don't even think I knew about.
You didn't even see the TMZ picture of him coming, like it was a train station, looked very 1980s-ish, and the
No.
door opens and all these people run
Show
out.
me this right now. All right, I'm about to watch this for the first time. Let's see. Oh, is this New York? Oh, what? Yes.
So
Yes. What? Oh, this is gonna be a good movie, bro. I could tell. Oh shit. Now he all right. He has the look of the Joker in this. So maybe
That's a very
maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it isn't. When he becomes a Joker at the end, because that looks like a full scene where he's dressed as the Joker that we know.
That could have been
that's the
that
iconic
could
colors.
be like the ending of the movie or like near. But yeah, the suit is iconic.
Yeah.
The face paint isn't.
Oh yeah.
See,
yeah.
what I think you are right is that like the face paint will get more traditional by the end of the movie. Right now, we're seeing a Joker who's coming out of his shell, and he's like really becoming what we've known him to be.
Dude, I'm super excited about that. So here's the thing. When it comes to movies, there are some DC stuff out there that is looking very promising. And speaking of some more promising DC stuff headed our way, the DC Network is now available, Ben. It is so freaking awesome. All the content that's on there, dude, you get it right on your phone, iPad, laptop, whatever, smart TV. It's so nice, being New Yorkers, that you could sit on your phone on a subway and watch like Batman the animated series. I'm gonna deep dive into that and watch every episode because that was one of my favorite things growing up.
I'll definitely get into that.
Yeah,
like,
maybe we'll do a couple
that.
episodes of the podcast on it or touch base on it from time to time. So man, you can watch the old school Christopher Reeve Superman films. Why did I forget that? I guess I'm trying to forget
all of the Batmans. Batman 1, Batman 2, Batman Returns, the terrible ones in between.
Yep, exactly. And then what's so dope is like any week now, we're going to start to get original content from them. And recently we saw, it was a few weeks back by now, but we saw another Titans trailer, right?
Absolutely. With a very, very dark Robin with Dick Grayson.
Yeah.
Like, he's killing people. He's got blood on his face.
It looks pretty badass.
It's Batman, and he goes, fuck Batman. Like,
Yeah, I think I saw him break a dude's neck, and then...
he shoots someone.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he takes the gun out of someone and kills them.
And then I think they released like a second trailer.
With the younger one, Jason Todd.
Nice. So we're getting an interaction between the two Robins, right?
There's a funny part where he says, like, Jason Todd says something to him, like, he's always touchy when you drive the Batmobile, and the older one goes, he lets you drive the Batmobile.
Yeah. That reminds me of the Teen Titans go to the movies jokes that they had against Robin. Basically, like, Robin never got to do anything fun.
It's like he's been with Batman all these years.
Yeah.
The Batmobile.
And if you want more podcasts about Teen Titans Go to the Movies, our last podcast we did some of that, so go check that out. But anyway, the DC Network, we also got some other cool shows coming. Ben, tell me about it.
We're getting an animated Swamp Thing movie.
Nice.
Created by Len Wiseman. He created the Underworld series.
All right.
All right. It's got a 2019 but no confirmed month, so they probably are going to ease into some of the other stuff, see how well Titans goes.
It's going to be an animated series, right?
Yeah, it's going to be an animated series.
All right, I'm in for that. I always liked the... Actually, Swamp Thing used to scare the crap out of me as a kid. I
used to watch that show with my dad.
Was it in a movie, too?
It was you know who directed the movie?
Wes Craven. Yep. Yeah. I remember that. Hell yeah. I got to go back and watch that. But, he used to freak me out as a young child. All right. And then we're also going to be getting some other new shows and new movies available on the network, including Doom Patrol and Harley Quinn.
Yeah,
right?
Animated Harley Quinn show.
Yeah, so...
And Doom Patrol is supposed to get involved with the Titans show. I think
like crossover episodes and stuff like that.
Like CW does and Netflix does with their series.
All right, that sounds pretty dope, actually. So what was it for the year again for this the DC Network? You said it was like $75 for the year.
$74.99 for the year.
That's a pretty good bargain, man.
That's actually a really good bargain.
That's less than $10 a month for a year of all of this stuff. Listen, they're not paying us for this. We don't have enough listeners or subscribers.
They really don't care.
I'm just saying this as a fan. Like, that's a good deal for like this much content.
Well, originally it was announced to be like 110, so they must have lowered down the price because at first I was like, $100, but $75 for the year.
Better get it now and get grandfathered into that before
it becomes popular.
Hike it up.
Yeah, you're right.
All right, let's move on. with that, we also got the TV season returning next month. About to come up, Ben.
I'm excited for
October,
this.
we're getting everything coming back. My favorite, can't wait for this one, Flash, coming back October 9th. We got introduced to his daughter at the end of last season.
XS.
Yeah, that's...
She's a good actress too.
Oh yeah, I don't...
Sarah Jessica or something.
I'm not familiar with her, but
she was in my favorite show, Black Sails. She was a major character in every episode.
But the cliffhanger though, bro.
Yeah, man.
From last
she just
season,
pops up and goes, "I'm your daughter, and I'm stuck here."
Well, no, before that though, when he was trying to destroy what was the satellite. When he's running up and you see the second fist, you don't remember that?
Yeah, that was her. That was
yeah,
XS.
Exactly.
Yeah,
she helps to. That's when I was like, oh crap, next season's about to, because you knew
she changed her timeline.
Rang the doorbell at the end of the season. I knew that the next season was about to be like super dope because there was another speedster, but one that was on his side joining, and I didn't realize he had a daughter and she was in the comics. I'm not like deep into the Flash comics.
No, neither am I.
So that was a cool surprise to me, actually. But that's cool that she's a good actress as well. That's dope. So we're getting that October 9th. I don't watch this show. I haven't seen it yet. Black Lightning. I've heard mixed reviews. Heard a couple people watch it and they really love it. And then I heard some people were like, it's
hey, got a second season.
But he got a second season, so it's got to be halfway decent.
Didn't they immediately renew it too after only like 4 episodes or 5
I think
episodes?
They did. Well, that's cool. You know, I'm behind on a few shows. If I can get around to it, I might try it.
There's so much.
I don't really know
content
much
out
about
there.
I
That's
just don't know much about the character. And if it's character I don't know much about, it's hard for me to want to jump right into them. But let's see. We got Arrow coming back as well, October 15th, and I liked last season. I think the beginning of it took a little while. The whole Oliver being a father thing was a little, I don't know, played out.
Some of the promotional material shows him being in jail.
Oh, crap. That's right. Oliver turns himself in at the end of last season. Wow. All right, cool. So we might get this.
Most of it of him being in prison.
Interesting. So it's going to be about Team Arrow then a lot. The vigilantes.
Maybe he's stopping crime from the inside.
Facts, he will be. You know for facts Oliver Queen's going to be stopping crime from the insides. All right. Cool. You know, Arrow, it's always like mixed for me. They get to the really good stuff. It just kind of takes a while to get there.
Arrow's, I don't know. I don't think it's as consistent as Flash. That's my favorite show.
Flash is consistent.
But you've been very faithful to Arrow over the years, haven't
you? Not as faithful as Flash, actually. Flash is like, once I was in in the beginning, because I didn't come into Arrow until like season 4 or 3. But the first 2 seasons of Arrow, I really recommend. There are 1 or 2 seasons in between that kind of stank. But it got good again. I will say it got good again. So I'll be back for that. Supergirl, we mentioned this, is coming back October 14th. She got another season.
Yeah.
So cool.
Well, CW wants to keep her around. She's important to the other storylines.
Again,
so like,
we like the crossover episodes. We always look forward to that.
I do. Yeah.
I think she's a pretty good Supergirl. I might try to get into some more of that. And then we're also getting DC's Legends of Tomorrow coming back October 22nd. And they've added Constantine to
that
the
show
squad.
got canceled, but they added like the character to
Dude,
Legends of
there
Tomorrow.
were some crossover episodes of Constantine and Arrow and DC's Legends. So now he's a part of the whole squad. Cool.
They should rename that show DC Shows That Didn't Work.
Or DC characters that don't work well solo, but work well in a group setting.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Check this out, though. Gotham is coming back for its 5th and final season, and it's actually going to return mid-season instead of launching in the fall. It's going to be returning in the winter. Sunday, December 30th. All right. So not as much. I mean, this is worse than Arrow. Arrow's I'd watch the worst episodes of Arrow over the worst episodes of Gotham because there's some good seasons of Gotham, there's some bad ones, and then there's like last season, which started off promising, and then I don't know, didn't really. It wasn't a.
Didn't fulfill.
I wasn't wowed. It was cool stuff. You know, he's Batman basically. He's becoming the Batman guy. This kid is becoming the Batman guy, but there's some other characters that are just kind of annoying at this point, and I'm kind of happy that they're wrapping it up.
Wasn't that show supposed to be centered around Gordon anyway?
Yeah, exactly. And then it was doing bad, so then they were like, "Oh, let's up all the Batman stuff about this kid and put him in like, dark clothes and a hoodie and have him run around rooftops. And that's how we're going to do a season finale. And then the next season, we're going to have him come back and, start, fighting crime in the street, but also not really making Batman yet, but start to kind of hint at Batman and the Batcave and all this other. Dude, it's exhausting thinking about it.
It sounds exhausting.
Because there's like moments where I'm like, oh, I like it, and then it's like 3 episodes of like crap. You're like, the fuck am I doing right now? So whatever. Maybe they might end on a high note. Let's see. You shrug your shoulders like I don't give a fuck.
No,
Speaking of I don't give a fuck. Krypton. I couldn't get past episode 3 of first season 1.
Past episode 5. I made it to episode 5 or maybe 6.
It started off with a really cool idea that I was in for, and then it kind of just dragged out. It dragged out in a boring Game of Thrones dragging out kind of way that never really paid off for me. If you get what I mean by that.
They hinted at a villain that you don't even really get to see till like episode 6 or 7. So it's like most of the show started off cool. Like I thought the first 2 episodes started off cool, but then it really was like you were saying about Gotham. Some episodes are a lot more difficult to get through than others, and then some episodes just make you want to go, you know what, this isn't even worth it.
And then I guess our opinions are obviously wrong because they've renewed it and they're doing season 2.
I have to say, if the season 2 is any better, because it looks like in the trailer they hinted at Doomsday.
Well, here's the other thing: Lobo was also supposed to be making
cool character if done right.
So here's the thing: if you're saying Doomsday and Lobo, now I'm like, all right, I'm interested, but I was interested the first time around and it wasn't that great. Now they're actually going to be giving us villains, but now is it like, let's throw the biggest Superman villains in this for what? We're not going to get Superman, so what?
What they're probably going to go into is the destruction of Krypton. Maybe Doomsday has like involvement with that. I don't know. It
kind of sounds boring.
I just hope if they do Lobo, which does sound kind of cool, I just hope they don't do a watered down version of Lobo, because Lobo's supposed to be basically the DC's version of Deadpool.
Yeah, he's a big badass.
He's a
murderous
big bad.
Son
He's
of
an
a bitch.
asshole though.
Yeah,
he's a huge asshole, and I hope they do an asshole and not just kind of like a lighthearted jerk. But it is sci-fi. So
all right. Well, yeah. I don't know. You guys let us know, I guess, because I ain't watching that.
Yeah, let us know what you think. Have you watched it?
All right. The Gifted is coming back September 25th on Fox, I believe. Dude, this is another one that's it's hard to get through. I was really in for it in the beginning. I watched like the first 6, 7 episodes, or however many there were. I think it's pretty short, actually. I could be wrong, but I watched a good chunk of it, but then it started to lose me. But they renewed it, so a bunch of people were watching. The things that I did like about it was there's a lot of like Easter eggs of Marvel stuff, especially in the X-Men world. They always hint at the X-Men or the Brotherhood of Mutants. And then they have Polaris in it, which is the daughter of Magneto. And she knows, I don't think she knows her father's Magneto, but she knows that her father once was the leader of the Brotherhood of Mutants. And they always hint at all this really cool stuff. And then they got these other characters and storylines that are okay at best. But it's kind of stuff that we've already seen before. There's Sentinel Services. This group of basically Sentinel. They're the FBI, but they have Sentinel robots that capture the mutants. But they're not like the Sentinels that we know from the animated, the big purple Godzilla-sized
Robots.
robots. They're
Yeah.
like these think metal alien creature. You know, the things that attach to the face.
That
Something like
sounds
that.
kind of.
And they can like grab on and like arrest them and put collars and anyway, I've seen it before.
That sounds like a cheesy, like, revamp. That, like, how can you change the Sentinels that dramatically?
It's a very Terminator styled Sentinel, and it's almost cool, and you almost feel like it's dangerous, but at the same time, you're like, it'd be kind of cool if it was a badass robot.
Yeah.
And it is a badass robot, but I mean, like a humanoid version or something. I don't know.
Terminator.
Yeah, exactly. So that's coming back. Whatever. I don't know. There's a lot of whatevers. And again, we're going to talk about another whatever, a show that I was super into, and now I'm kind of like, whatever. The Walking Dead's coming back October 7th, and dude, they've taken so long with this Negan Rick story.
Was it season 9?
Season 29. I don't know, man. Fucking, it's okay. There are moments of it that I do really like, but then there are so many drawn out moments the last couple seasons that the payoff is just always underwhelming. That I'm like, let's wrap this up. But apparently they're really not. They're going to wrap up some characters. Rick is going to leave. A couple other characters are going to be written off the show. But the show is going to go on, and I feel like I think it's losing. I could be wrong, honestly. I don't know the numbers, but from the people I've talked to, friends, people are losing interest, and especially on social media, you see a lot of hype around it. And last season, I definitely didn't see the hype that we used to see that surrounded the show.
There's a lot of people who are even friends of mine, other friends that we know, are not really interested in it that much. It's like kind of, I don't know. I stopped watching it after season 4. I think it's on its 7th season now, so I'm like 3 seasons behind.
There's actually some pretty good seasons after. I think there's another good season in the mix between when you left off.
Well,
and
the
where
only
they're at
reason we
now.
know that certain characters are gonna die off is because their actors didn't re-sign their contracts.
Yeah, exactly.
Which kind of, I guess, hurts also
it cheapens the anticipation for the show.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's going to happen. These guys are going to be gone.
Yeah.
So the surprise, shock, and awe won't be there like there been in other seasons.
You can't have them like walk off in the sunset, especially since the show is based around them. It's like, oh, well, I'm not going to be here anymore, so I'll see you later. That really doesn't work out.
All right, well, now that we've depressed all the listeners of the podcast, can we talk about TV shows that I'm super freaking pumped about?
Daredevil Season 3?
We're getting Daredevil Season 3, October 19th.
That's actually pretty soon. I didn't even know it was going to be that soon.
It's looking dark, man. It's looking dark, and I'm liking it.
Yeah, it does.
I haven't been disappointed with anything Daredevil at all. I actually loved season 1. Season 2, I don't know what's a word to express love more than love.
It's my favorite Netflix.
Season 2 is so amazing. Epically,
that and Punisher.
And not to use the word lightly, it's an epic series. Season 2, the whole Punisher Daredevil dynamic, the whole Matt Murdock defending Frank Castle dynamic in court is so badass. And then you throw in what's his name as Kingpin.
Wilson Fisk. Do you remember the scene when like Punisher walks into his jail cell and he's like bench pressing he's like bench pressing 545 plates?
So
on
many
each
good
side
actors in
with
this.
It's crazy. Yeah, Vincent D'Onofrio is amazing.
Exactly, that's the name I was thinking of.
Whoever picked him as Wilson Fisk deserves an Emmy immediately just for that kind of casting choice.
No, the guy who they cast as the perfect person for the role. the guy who they cast as Punisher.
Oh, John Berthal.
Yes.
You know, I met him. He's a really nice guy, and
he killed it as the role, beyond any other actor. And I really do like the actor who plays Matt Murdock as well. That guy,
he's great.
He's great as the role. Everyone on that show I like. So
except
I'm
for Karen.
I like Karen.
I hate Karen.
You know, now that there's other characters in the Marvel Netflix universe that I hate more than Karen.
You don't hate Karen as much?
No, yeah, exactly. I don't hate her as much.
At the beginning of the Punisher series, she seemed to be more tolerable, but by the end, she was even less tolerable since the season 1.
You guys could tweet at us, stop at hashtag stop the hate for Karen. You could actually just tweet at Ben. What's your handle? At Pumpkin Claw?
At Pumpkin Claw.
At Pumpkin Claw with the hashtag stop hating Karen. All right, let's move on. Something else I'm super freaking pumped about, man.
This is cool.
This was such great news on so many levels. I would have taken this news on so many different levels, and let me tell you what I mean by that. So Disney's coming out with their own network as well, like an app for your phone, much like DC, much like Netflix, all that sort of stuff. And they're getting all the Marvel shows, all the Marvel TV movies. I don't think they won't get the Netflix shows actually. That'll stay at Netflix.
Oh well, Netflix produced them.
They produce them, so they'll stay over there. But they're going to make their own original content as well, and they're coming out with a Scarlet Witch and separately a Loki TV series.
That's pretty cool.
And like that alone, that's what I'm saying on so many levels. This is cool. If you would have stopped at that, I would have said, hell yeah, that's really, really cool. Then when I heard the news that it's Tom Hiddleston and
Elizabeth Olsen. That's awesome.
Recurring as the roles of this, I'm like, no way. They got these actors to do a TV series, whatever. Even if it's 5-6 episodes, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm all for it. So that's great news. Once again, Disney, Marvel taking more money out of our pockets because on that alone, I'm gonna buy this network. Super exciting news, right?
Well, I'm going to get the network just to have all the MCU films like on my fingertips.
Yeah, but this makes me want to run out and buy it now.
Yeah,
if at the launch this is available, this would be a selling point for me, or this would be a great selling point in general because a lot of fans probably already have a shit ton of the DVDs. So some people might not run out to purchase I'm going to imagine the $99.99 year offer that this will probably be. But if you're going to give us 2 characters that we know and love and a whole series dedicated to them, yes, take my money.
I'm sure they'll also have episodes of Uncanny X-Men
100%
available and Amazing Spider-Man.
Facts. I'm loving that.
I would love to rewatch The Amazing Spider-Man.
There's going to be so much content that you actually probably forgot about that'll be out on this.
Very true.
You think they're going to have those like old school Captain America?
They'll have the old school Captain America, not the Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah, no, that's like locked away in a vault.
Yeah, have you ever seen the documentary?
I did see the documentary on that. That's actually pretty fascinating. What was it called? Do you remember?
Doom: The Untold Story of Roger Corman's The Fantastic Four.
Yeah, if you guys never seen that and you like documentaries and you want to hear some effed up ish about Hollywood, it's a very fascinating story. Let's not get into all that.
Yeah.
But that's really, really cool that we're going to get a network that might have all this weird and wild content that we might not have ever expected. But everything from these old school Captain America TV series to this new Scarlet Witch and Loki series.
That'd be awesome.
Everything in between. That's really, really cool. Sign me up. All right, so let's wrap this segment up. We got some movies also coming up in the next 3 months. Some we're excited about, some not so much. In October, we got Venom. You guys all know that. It's looking better and better for this. Every trailer I've seen, I've been a little bit more excited. And I heard, rumor is that there's some awesome, cool twist at the end. And I think, Ben, you might have heard the rumor. And
I've read somewhere on
is this what it's going to be?
It's going to be like they're doing a trilogy. They've already got a planned a trilogy. Now, Woody Harrelson's in it, and he's an unnamed character on IMDb. And there's speculation he's Carnage. Now, remember we were talking about Scream's in it in our last podcast? Well, Scream's not actually a villain. Scream may actually join up with Eddie Brock.
Okay.
And they're gonna turn it into like a symbiote group, like the Avengers with symbiotes.
Okay.
And the culmination is going to be
Sons of Symbiote.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
All right. They're gonna end. The ending's gonna be like Venom versus Carnage. In part 3.
I know. Nice. And the part 3 of the trilogy. So they're gonna introduce
probably gonna be like,
Woody Harrelson in this as what is his name? Cassidy, I think.
Yeah.
And then the next one he'll be in it as Carnage, and then maybe by the third one it's the final showdown kind of thing.
I don't know if this is not confirmed. This is just
I don't know.
I kind of like the idea. We were talking about once how they're creating a whole like verse of Spider-Man villains.
Yeah,
and that'll involve Morbius in it too.
Yeah, maybe Blade.
Blade apparently
because I heard that I think I heard rumor that Wesley's in talks to do another Blade.
Wesley Snipes is in talks to do another Blade.
Now, is this like who owns Blade? Is it
Marvel?
Is it Marvel? But no, but through Disney, it's not like a Sony.
Well, it was New Line Cinema that's owned now by Warner Brothers.
So Warner Brothers has the rights to.
Well, they might
Blade,
actually not actually have the rights because I heard rumors too that Disney bought back the rights to Fantastic Four.
Interesting.
And maybe that was bought back for the same thing. Or,
right.
or
well, I don't know.
We don't even know when these contracts end.
Yeah,
Blade's contract could have ended years ago, and Disney realized it was on their books during the Marvel absorption.
I don't know. So, am I in for it? I don't know. When I heard about the Spider-Man villains, like Morbius getting his own movie, I'm like, ooh, that piqued my interest. Now, you're telling me a gang of symbiotes.
That might be stretching it.
Yeah, well, I don't know. We'll see. Let me watch this first Venom movie, and then I'll see from there. All right, let's move on. More movies coming out this year. We'll go quick. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I'm in for it. I'm going to see it. It looks awesome. Let's go see it in 3D. You think it'd be cool to see it in 4D? Maybe.
It's supposed to be animated, so
I know, but he's swinging and moving. Doesn't the seats move and stuff? Or
it
no?
Could.
I don't know. Maybe we'll come back to that. And then we're getting Aquaman. I don't really want to see it.
I'll wait till.
But I'm gonna see it.
I'll wait till the DC streaming service.
Nah, I'm gonna see it. But my expectations are not very high for it at all. All right, let's move on to something that I know has gotten fanboys and girls excited all over the internet. The Spider-Man PS4 video game.
Oh my god. It's so great.
Ben, you own it. You got to sit down with it. I had the pleasure of coming over and getting to watch you play some of the game, and I also got to play some of it as well. And let me just kind of give my quick little perspective of it. It is freaking awesome. It literally makes me want to run out and go buy a PS4. Dude, the graphics are amazing. Being a New Yorker, having Spider-Man go stand at the top of like the tallest building and look across Manhattan. Not even that. Look across to the other boroughs.
It's very detailed.
And see
New York
bridges
City.
and everything. I'm just like, it's breathtaking. It's so cool. I don't know if other people who play the game have as much appreciation for the detail of the map of this game as New Yorkers might, but it's awesome. From the hour that I got to play the game, I just there's so many details in it. There's so much intricate details throughout this game.
They definitely mapped out New York City correctly, but like,
outside of the map of the game, just the details within the gameplay itself, between the screens and the different ways you can like view things or different functions or gameplay, it literally reminded me of the TV like being in the Karen suit from Spider-Man Homecoming.
Oh
When
yeah.
when you'd pop up certain screens, it would look to me like I was inside the Spider-Man suit
I
from
think
Homecoming.
that's what they were going for
And I
with it
felt like
too.
I was looking at this AKA Karen, the Stark technology in the gameplay, and I'm like, yo, that is really, really awesome. And then just, again, the details of all the different Marvel details throughout it.
J. Jonah
You
Jameson's
just
podcast.
Oh, that was so cool that like they made it modern. Like instead of like J. Jonah Jameson just being the head of some newspaper company, he has like this streaming podcast that's playing while you're playing the game,
Throughout the
where
entire
he
thing.
portrays a very Rush Limbaugh type persona, or Alex Jones.
I'd say
type
more Rush Limbaugh, Don Imus.
Yeah,
Like, you know,
yeah.
very negative of
Yeah,
positive
just
news.
yelling,
Like,
and
yeah.
especially, or just like conspiracy theories about Spider-Man, or painting him out to be this medicine thing. And I thought it was cool that it ended up being like a podcast that he's like, that it's airing, and not like just the typical modern story of a newspaper company, but just all the other Marvel characters that are in this game, bro. So cool, and all the different spider suits you can get.
Oh
When it
man.
comes to detail, this game really did it like no other. But again, I only got to sit down and watch you play it for a while, and then play it for, maybe 60 minutes myself. Ben, you've got to sit down with this game for a few weeks now. I think you've been in the same pair of underwear.
Yeah.
You haven't shaved. You look like shit. Tell me about this game. It's obviously
Well,
awesome.
I sat down for over 40 hours with it. So I beat it. I've collected all
Wait,
the trophies.
stop. Pause. You just said you sat down for 40 hours with it and
Yeah.
beat it.
I beat it.
You're not talking about the game,
Oh.
or just making sure? I want to clarify.
Of course, bring it. Yeah,
Okay.
we'll stick my private life out of this. But
All right, anyway,
yeah,
so get back
it's
to the
got.
game.
I went over 40 hours of gameplay into it. That includes the main mission, all the side missions, the trophies, and it's got. One important thing for gamers, and I like to consider myself a gamer. I'm a new gamer, but I still I invest in games when I buy them.
Yeah.
So, one thing that I know is important and I liked, it's got definite replayability. Not only have I decided to play over the main mission game to go through harder, but I also like swinging through the city on my 100% and just
you could just do that for a few minutes and have fun, right?
Yeah, just defeat random because throughout the game you have alerts that go up in red boxes with explanation points that say when a crime or an accident.
So you defeat these random crimes, these
throughout the city,
and
it's
petty
awesome.
crimes that are going on.
Well, robberies, drug deals. Sometimes it's Grand Theft Auto.
Let me bounce something off what you said. Going back to being a gamer. I used to be a gamer as a kid, and then I kind of stopped. Once I got to be probably 21, I'd say. And again, once in a while, there's a game I might grab that's fun, but I wouldn't go as far as to consider myself a gamer. But I would say that if there is a good game out there, and it's fun to play, once in a while I will sit down and play the fuck out of that game for days
just
at
put
a time.
a couple hours into it.
But those are few and far between, and I will say that this game is that kind of game for the reasons that you just said, for some of the things that I said, and for everything else that you're about to talk about. So that's why, again, I could see why you spent so much time playing this game.
The storyline is so cool. First off, you not only play as Spider-Man, you also play as Peter Parker, Mary Jane, and Miles Morales, who they introduce into the story arc, which is fascinating. It reads just like a comic book.
Yo, real quick, when I was at your house and I was watching you play that part as Mary Jane.
Oh, sneaking through Osborn's mansion.
I never thought I would have so much fun in a video game watching someone play as Mary Jane with no abilities, but just trying to sneak through Norman Osborn's penthouse to try to locate information and stuff like that. Dude, that was a fun aspect of the game. And you're Mary Jane. You don't have any abilities. You're crouching down, but the gameplay of that scene is so much fun.
You also have these little spider things that Peter Parker gave you that you throw it because there's armed guards throughout the
to distract the guards, right?
Yeah, so you can sneak past them. There was also a part where Miles Morales had to dodge Rhino. Like Rhino's like trying to kill Miles Morales, and like he sees him and he starts like crashing through like this industrial area, and you got to hide through boxes and containers and get him to run in front of a container to knock himself out for a few seconds. Like,
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, like the fact that you could play as 4 different characters is really awesome. You know, like you said, John, the map is totally interactive.
Yeah,
and it's big. It's absolutely New York City. There was a cool Stan Lee cameo.
Oh,
in the storyline.
I love it. I saw the picture online. That's awesome. I love that he's in it.
And the Iron Spider suit. I got the Iron Spider suit for pre-ordering it, and you could get the claws as an extra. That's a cool thing too that they added with the game. The fact that there are 27 suits in the game, and every time you change your suit, every suit has a special feature to it that it does. Like the electric suit generates an electric shock. The Iron Spider suit generates the legs out of the back, but the features are interchangeable with other suits. So you're not strictly limited to a suit because of its power. You can actually change out the powers.
Interchange powers between suits.
There's this that becomes important later in the game when you start fighting Sable agents who are trying to take you down because they're immune to your webbing, but they're not immune to electric shock.
Silver Sable's in the game too, right?
She ends up working with Osborn
when a recurring role throughout it, doesn't
and
she?
She may end up being a DLC later on.
Nice.
Which I'll get into, that they just released info on 3 DLCs that are coming out.
What is a DLC?
Downloadable content. It's extra gameage that you can add it onto a game after you beat it. So like the game's over, the storyline's already done.
What is this? So this is content you go online and it's like you purchase.
Yeah.
What, like more levels, more chapters, more storylines?
More chapters. Like, so I purchased for $25. Like the next one's going to be the heist.
What did you get for $25?
3 DLCs that are coming out in the future.
So you get 3 DLCs for $25 and
it adds up.
Was it worth it?
I haven't played it yet. It comes out on the 24th.
Oh.
But so throughout the game, like I said, the game reads like a comic book. It makes you want to go into chapter after chapter.
It did. When I was sitting down watching, I felt like I was almost reading a comic book, which I loved.
And it teases you about future aspects that could be involved in the game. For one, Black Cat like teases you throughout the game to find her. And you have to start taking pictures of her little cats that she left around town.
See, that's what I like about the game. Little details like this is like... dude, it's the fact that Peter Parker's a photographer, so you know it's gonna have a camera.
Oh well, the camera takes. You also take pictures that get landmarks, but at the end, when you find her lair, like she gives you a suit,
and that's what's cool. So now it's like characters too on top of
she's gonna be
some
in the
of the
new
other details.
DLC, the heist, where she robs a bank.
So it's gonna be a whole story about her.
Yes,
and you get to play as her.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's really dope.
Oh no, I don't think you get to play as her. I think you have to stop her from robbing a bank.
So. Do you think there's going to be any DLCs where you get to play like more characters that you get to play the game as?
I'm pretty sure that I mean, it depends because they've already talked about Spider-Man 2, and I'm sure they're not going to want to do too much to not get you because Venom's going to be in the next one.
Okay.
The director already talked about that, and they hinted at it at the end of the game when you beat it.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Osborn goes up to like this All
right, hang on. He's about to spoil the F out of this game. So if you don't want to hear anything, fast forward 20, 25 seconds.
Yeah.
Ben, you got 25 seconds.
So
spoiler alert, he's about to ruin the end of the game.
So basically, Osborn puts his hand up to the tank, and there's Harry Osborn in it with symbiotes all over him.
So Harry Osborn's in a tank with symbiotes all over him?
Yeah, he's basically going to be like a Venom. Yeah, it's a green fish tank full of like liquid.
A human-sized fish tank?
Yeah.
All right.
So the director already talked about that Venom's going to be in the sequel. And I'm not sure if they'll introduce Green Goblin. They've hinted at Norman turning into Green Goblin all the time.
Can we rewind though? Is Harry a symbiote? Is he turning into a what is he turning into?
Harry looks like he's in a stasis tank with a single symbiote.
The symbiote's like bonding
to him. Yeah, exactly. And Norman's trying to obviously get it off of him somehow. So maybe who knows if that's gonna.
Oh, so Harry got bonded with a symbiote, and Norman is trying to extract the symbiote from his son.
Yeah,
is that what's going on?
They
were hinting that Harry's
Somewhere.
sick, right? Or
No, they hinted that he's away throughout
he's
the
away.
whole.
Okay,
Yeah, he's
so it's
off
like this
somewhere.
ambiguous, like in that Mary Jane scene. It's like, where's Harry? And I was like, I don't know. Why are we looking for Harry at Norman's place? I guess does he still live at home? All right, cool. Let's figure this out. Where the hell's Harry? All right, so interesting. What else you got?
So there's also a lot of Easter eggs throughout it. Avengers Tower.
Yeah, I like that. That was actually really cool. That was one of the first things I did in the game was find the tallest building, which I think
That's actually an unlockable achievement.
Oh,
Just
okay.
perching on top of Avengers Tower.
Okay.
It's the tallest building in New York City in the game.
Okay, so I thought so. So that was one of the first things I did when I was playing at your house. I ran up the tower to stand there and then just look all around. And I was like, wow, this game is awesome.
Oh man! Well, then they hint at the Netflix shows like Jessica Jones, Daredevil, the boxing gym that his dad They replaced
That's cool.
the bull in Wall Street with Lockjaw from
Inhumans?
the Inhumans.
See, that's what I'm saying. See, I didn't get to see any of that, but so there's so much Marvel detail.
Oh, there's so much Marvel detail. And
So wait, this video game is talking about the Netflix specific
they
shows?
they pay homage to it.
Okay.
Like they have different areas in the Netflix specific shows that into the game, into
right.
New York City.
All
Because all
right.
those games take place in Hell's
All right,
Kitchen.
that's cool.
Like,
Nice.
you know,
so like
Harlem.
landmarks in the,
Yes.
within the show.
Yes, absolutely.
Dope. All right, that's really cool.
Dude, the game is just like it's so fun. And it's fun for adults and it's fun for even kids. Like your niece and nephew could play it and your like, you know, your sister and your brother-in-law wouldn't have to worry. Like it's the villains are awesome. Dr. Octopus, you see the fall of Dr. Octopus because basically you work for Dr. Octavius and Norman Osborn is the mayor of New York City and he ruins Octavius's like lab, basically shuts him down, and that's who Peter Parker works for. And some of the challenges you have to do, like, you know, complete the circuit challenge and you help out through scientific achievements like Octavius basically become Doc Ock.
Well, all right.
Who's the main villain of the game?
Ruin, do you want to just keep ruining the game for everyone?
Well,
anyway,
well, even playing it's fun.
so the game is just amazing. Do you have any final thoughts you want to talk about the game?
That's it. I would assume go out and get PS4 or at least pick it up. It's obviously Sony exclusive. This is why Sony allowed Disney to do a Spider-Man movie because they needed to rehab the character.
Aha.
So, yeah, they've been planning on this for years. So I can't wait.
Yeah, interesting. All right, moving on. Let's go into this, dude. Iron Fist season 2. Man, oh man. What a mixed bag of emotions this show is.
I'm only into episode 2, so you said it picks up in episode 3.
All right, check this out. Season 1 is the worst
I couldn't get through
Netflix
it.
series of any of these Marvel shows. It's a big turd in my opinion. I didn't like it at all. I felt annoyed that I had to wait freaking whatever it was, 12 episodes to see this dude's fist light up officially. Weak sauce, I thought. So I don't know what made me want to watch season 2, but you know, I watch all this Marvel stuff. But let me tell you what happened. So the day it dropped, right? I come home and I'm like, all right, let's do this.
You made a decision to invest into the season.
Yeah, I turned it on and I watched the season 1 recap.
Oh, see, I skipped through
And that was the worst decision I have ever made on Netflix because right after I watched that season 1 recap, I immediately turned it off because I was
go
so
through it.
mad.
Yeah,
I did not want to go through it.
That's kind of
I went
funny.
through that minute and a half of a recap, and it made me so angry. And I was like, I'm not gonna waste my time on this crap again.
I made it through 3 episodes, 3 maybe 4 episodes of Iron Fist season 1.
And then the next day, one of our friends hit me up like, "Yo, did you watch it yet?" And I was like, I turned it. I literally said I turned it off after watching the season 1 recap. He LOL'd, right? And I was like, but you know what? He's saying I was getting pretty good. I was like, let me give it a try because I'm gonna watch it anyway. I tried it again the next night, and from the first 30 seconds of this season, I enjoyed it more than last season. I'm going to tell you why.
It started off strong.
Last season, some of my beefs with it, other than I think the storyline was crap, we saw this dude's Danny Rand's fists glow like 2 to 4 times total last season, I felt. And it wasn't even until the last episode he really uses it like a badass. There's not even that much fighting in season 1 that was good. Like, I thought it like, a couple scuffles here and there, but nothing like memorable. Honestly, I don't remember any fights in season 1. Season 2, though, right from the jump. All right, here's a big fight scene. Oh, right from the jump, his fist is glowing. Yes.
Yeah, the first scene was
right
him.
from the jump. He's kicking ass against like 8 dudes or whatever it is. I'm already like, they learned their mistakes. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna give this a try. All right. There are moments in the beginning that I'm like, oh, this is kind of weird. He's working at a furniture delivery service or moving company, or what does he do? He's moving boxes.
He's working for a moving company.
And I was like, all right, it's a stretch, but okay.
That confused me because I didn't finish season 1. So at one point I thought to myself, all right, he was a billionaire, but maybe he lost all of his money.
Listen,
I was like, all right.
I'm confused by it, but I think I need to go back and watch season 1 regardless. But so anyway, there are, all right. But let me tell you though, dude, they learned all the mistakes that they made in season 1, and they got new writers, a new showrunner, and you could tell because as the episodes go on, let me say this. First off, I enjoyed Danny Rand a lot more in Defenders than I did Iron Fist. He was way better in that.
He was better in Luke Cage season 2.
I enjoyed him a lot in Luke Cage season 2. I finally thought that they were writing in a way that made Danny a more likable character, or people could relate with him, right? So cool. I'm going into season 2 now of Iron Fist with that expectation, and what I'm noticing is not only did this start to tell Danny's story better, they started to tell everyone's story better. People I didn't even give a F about in season 1, the brother and sister, Ward and Joy. Throughout this season, their storylines and characters become like, I'm like, yo, I like them. There are moments in this season where there's some really cool stuff that happened with them that I'm like, dude, I give a F about these characters that are side characters that are not only that,
reoccurring character.
Yeah. Colleen Wing, oh my God, she's one of the best characters in the show. The stuff that they do with her and the storyline that we'll get into is so awesome. Again, Misty Knight. The moment Misty Knight gets into the show, it went from there are moments prior to her coming on the show that's awesome, but when she got on the show, all of a sudden it brought such a big smile to my face because I knew like, oh, this is the moment where
she was a badass
shit's
character.
about to really go down.
She's a good character.
So I felt they kind of honestly did a little bit more with her character, but I'm not mad about it. But then they have a villain in it that's actually like a good villain that you see him throughout it, growing, like, you just like, you start to hate him more as the season goes by. So they're telling a good story now within the whole story with all the characters. And that's what was really missed with the first season. I felt like no one felt like that was a successful season, or most people, I would say.
I was surprised they made a season 2, but I mean, I'm glad that it worked out.
Yeah, so again, all the characters, they're doing a lot of cool stuff with that. And then they introduced new characters, Ben. Mary Walker, a.k.a. from the comics, Typhoid Mary, played by Allie Eve. First off, she's a beautiful babe, but I didn't realize how great of an actress she is. She kills this role as Mary, and then separately Walker. So Mary, we have, is a sweet, innocent girl who's sort of harmless. She's, mixed into some stuff, but she doesn't realize it because she blacks out and has a split personality, who is Walker, this militarized assassin badass. So it's polar opposite characters, and throughout the show, she switches um these scenes and interactions flawlessly. Like, she's interacting with Danny as Mary. That's how it's introduced, and it's like harmless.
Oh yes, the artist.
Yes,
at the beginning, who
so
he
you
brings
think
to
it's
her.
you think
Yeah,
it's so
she's
harmless,
not from
and
town. Remember
exactly,
Yeah,
and
that's interesting. I like that actress.
and then it just there's like these moments where at the end of it, it's all about Mary Walker. Like these episodes that you have to watch the next the end, and you have to watch the next episode, and it's all because of this Mary Walker character. One of my favorite
I was
parts
like Daredevil
about this season. She is speaking of Daredevil, she's a Daredevil character.
Well, that's kind of like Punisher and Daredevil 2.
Yeah.
Season 2, where like you couldn't wait to see the next episode
Now,
because of Punisher.
Here's the thing. Yes, but we're gonna see more Mary in other down the road.
I hope
maybe
so.
in Daredevil, and she's a character that I can't wait to see again.
Cool.
Let's talk about some other characters that really have some cool moments. Danny basically, I guess if we want to do some spoiler alerts, sure, ends up losing his powers to Davos. Davos finds out a way to steal the chi, the essence of the Iron Fist, and he does successfully. Now Danny's without it, so now Danny's lost, and he's kind of this annoying thing again from season
back to
1.
His
But not in a way that I hate him as much, because all the other characters around him are being developed more. So what ends up happening, man, it's so dope, is that this is a huge spoiler alert. They end up giving Colleen Wing the Iron Fist, and she becomes the Iron Fist. Yes. The journey there is very exciting. So even though I kind of told the big spoiler, there's so much that goes to get to that moment. It's really, really good.
Now, does the season end with her as Iron Fist?
No, because now,
all right,
that's where you're like, oh, this is really cool. Now they're wrapping up the season, and they're showing all the characters, and her and Misty Knight are sitting by a car, and they're saying, oh, make a pretty good team, yeah, we should do something. We could be called Nightwing. And it's a call on the duo of them in the comics. I think it's like Nightwing Restorations, sort of like something weird like Alias Investigations, where you're like, what do they do quite? So yeah, they hint at that as a team up, maybe for their own series. And what you see with Misty and Colleen throughout this whole show, is I'd be totally cool with a whole series with just them.
I could see Misty having her own show. I mean, that actress is strong enough to hold her own show. But
even Colleen, in the beginning of season 2, this character is better and better. And you're about to see in the next few episodes, before you even get to the good stuff, you're going to start rooting for Colleen before you even know where it's heading, because her character is developing, and you're like, oh, she's a badass. Well, she's awesome. And if you didn't know that from season 1 in Defenders, she definitely shows it in this. But let's talk about how it ends. Okay. So Danny doesn't have the power anymore, and he has to go on this quest to go search for answers, or some bullshit Danny ran, thing that you're just like, Danny, shut up and be the Iron Fist already. You know what I mean? So he kind of like dips out on Colleen, and he does his own thing. And you see freaking the very last scene is they're at this bar in, like, I want to say like South America, maybe, it could be wrong. And Ward's at this bar talking to this guy, this like kind of seedy looking guy. And Ward's asking him, have you seen someone? And the person, I think it's like Orson Randall. And if you know anything about the comic books, Orson Randall is a former Iron Fist, who actually, his ability was he can channel his chi. How Danny channels it through his fist, Orson Randall could channel the chi through his guns and bullets, so he could shoot off iron fucking bullets, like
Oh,
golden
that's
fucking
crazy.
iron bullets in his guns. Anyway, crazy shit. So anyway, check this out. So they're asking questions about someone, and it starts to get like into a fight, right? And Danny's at a table at the other end of the bar, and he's sitting there with two guns, and he gets up, and the other guy gets up with his gun, and he shoots, and Danny gets up and sorry, I'm like walking away from the mic because I'm getting up and I'm acting it out. Danny gets up, takes out two guns, his hands glow, the guns glow, he shoots two bullets, and the two bullets hit the one bullet coming, and that's how it ends. So Danny Rand ends on having the ability of the Orson Randall channeling his chi through guns and bullets. So will we see the Orson Randall character in season 3 of Iron Fist? I don't know. Maybe Danny's just been on this quest and it comes back with these powers. Either way, it ends on a way that like, fuck, I don't hate Danny Rand again.
I mean, I'm like, you don't even know if there's going to be a season 3, but we'll see that power probably. And are they making a Defenders too?
Well, none of that's confirmed, but I think the way it's going, I think this is, I'm sure it doesn't cost them a ton to make this stuff, and I think it's very popular, so I could see it coming out. And for fans, though, like, I was never a diehard Iron Fist fan, you know what I mean?
I wasn't an Iron Fist fan
Actually, he was
all.
one of the guys, like, when you get, like, the packs of trading cards,
I would trade his card.
And you would get his card and be like, oh, fuck, Iron Fist, bro? I'd take freaking, let me say, almost I'd rather get, like, Angel before he turned into Archangel, like just some dude with wings, like that's the level I always put Iron Fist on. So he was never a fan, or I was never a fan of him rather, but I'm growing to like the story that they're telling, and
it's good writing.
I'm liking the story of the Iron Fist because it's not necessarily about Danny Rand right now. It's about the Iron Fist and the legend of it, and now Colleen has it. Oh, and I forgot to mention, by the way, when at the end, when her fist lit up with the Iron Fist ability, her sword lit up too. So just how Danny can control the guns, she can control the sword.
She can put the chi through her sword. Channels it. That's interesting.
Tight,
I like that,
right?
Yeah.
So it ends on such high notes that, like, I'm like, dude, they.
Now, can I ask you a question?
Would I say they knocked it out the park? Very close, man. Inside the park home run, at least. Like, I walked away from that season going from hating a character or not really liking him because he kind of grew on me throughout Defenders and Luke, like I said, but to loving. I mean, that's a stretch. Really enjoying it. Really, really enjoying it, though. Feeling like the whole universe, though, of the Netflix series is really starting to come together now. Because if you give me a Nightwing series with Misty and Colleen, sign me up.
I'll watch that.
They were, if not the best part. I think I actually posted that on our IG. I wrote Colleen Wing and Misty Knight, the real MVPs of Iron Fist Season 2. And I mean that because their characters were the best thing, but overall really freaking awesome show. Recommend it. So you got to finish that and let me know how it was next podcast.
I will. I'm gonna finish watching it maybe tonight or tomorrow. So I'm excited. You got me excited to know that this girl's really a psycho because I thought she was just another Karen character.
No,
I was really worried.
Awesome.
She's just another Karen character. I was like, here's another character I'm gonna.
They get to the point where you're like, all right, well, how crazy is she? And I won't ruin where it leads off because let's just say that there's more to come of this character, and I'm all for it. She's great at the role, and they're writing her story very cool as well. So check it out. Iron Fist Season 2.
Let me ask you a quick question though regarding the chi. So it's cool that he can channel the chi into the bullets, but even a chi covered bullet, what's that really gonna do? Knock into the guy's body and throw him even further?
I guess like just blast them against the wall.
I guess like that would be cool if they make it bloody where it's like, but anyway. Maybe...
I felt like it was almost a stretch going that far.
with the chi covered bullet.
Yeah, like, but let's see what they do.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, it's a cool idea.
Maybe
I'm down
season
for it,
3
but
will be about his path into getting to that point. You know what I mean?
the concentration.
Like, yeah, like because he leaves Colleen in America to go search for another Iron Fist and like to find his chi again. So maybe it's that whole journey, and I'd be
Hmm.
for that, even if knowing what we know how it would end, like him getting that ability. Um, because I also feel like if they just start him off with like gold blasting bullets, like I'd be fine if they flash forward and backwards, but if it's just the whole season of him with that ability and us not knowing how he got that ability, that's kind of cheap.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I don't know.
I completely agree.
All right, let's move on. All right, we're actually almost done here. We got a few things to wrap up. Let's talk about some Avengers 4 stuff. We haven't talked about it in a while. There was a weird picture that
The
came
Russo
out
brothers dropped. Yeah,
on Instagram, very cryptic. Fans
people
are
are really
theorizing
heavily into this. I've
into
heard some,
shapes and letters and
Yeah,
sizes.
It
And
says hope. It says Endgame. It says
bring up the picture. I wanna see this thing because I've looked at it a few times and almost like a magic eye, where if you look at it long enough,
you're gonna see what you
you're
want
gonna
to see. You're gonna see what you want to
You
see.
think like so. I'm like, is that an A? Is that an L? Is that like?
Okay, it's obvious in there that there's a
There
lot
are
of,
some letters that
there's a-
look very obvious.
Well, I think there's one letter that says A. That's what I think.
and I think there's
it
like
just
an
stands
E
for
that looks
Avengers.
like very.
It's off in the corner. That could be seen as an E, but like,
and then
I
that
guess-
could be look like as an H. But how do people get hope? Where's the P
I
in that
don't know.
picture? So there's like something written on the ladder that I forgot what that stands for, but like one guy has a theory. Is that an O right there? You know what I mean?
Well, here I think. Honestly, I just think
Or
it's
like-
one of the Russo brothers against his
or
back
is like
to an egg.
ready? Are we ready for this? Or is that just a green screen and whatever it is on that green screen, but we can't see
Absolutely.
what it is?
That's exactly what it is. That's a green screen he's in front of, and whatever's supposed to be on that green screen, whatever they're filming, is going to be very important. But I really just think this is just a hey, let's see how crazy we can get the internet and like just get us trending.
I can't lie. I spent like at least 10 minutes looking at this thing, and
I increased it. I tried
right
to
now I'm
see where it
getting
was hitting.
angry because I'm sitting here like I'm trying to like see, and now I'm
think it's
seeing
only
the
the
O.
A.
Now
I
I'm
think
seeing
it's
the
only
O
the
in the
A.
middle. Let's see if there's O in the middle. And what if that's an AOA? What is that? Anything? Does that spell anything? I don't know. And now I'm just like looking for letters. We could look at this picture for hours and probably be way off base. Like we
Let us
were
know
with
what you think.
Infinity War theories. But,
Honestly, I think it's just the Russos messing with us.
since we're wrapping this up and we're talking about crazy Avengers 4 theories, they're running around the internet like rampant. Some that I could think of off the top. There's the theory that right as Thanos was getting hit with Thor's axe, the Stormbreaker, that he uses the Time Stone, so that's why Thor's blow wasn't like the strike that dropped him. There's a picture I saw. It's kind of grainy. I don't know if it's doctored, but it does look like right around Thor's axe there's green. I don't know if that means anything, but that's just one theory. I think it's very loose and I'm not really for it, but there is something I am really thinking is right. My brother-in-law pointed this out to me at one point, and also it's all over the internet. I've definitely seen a lot of people with this theory, the Loki theory. Now, we all know he's a trickster. We also feel like, would they really get rid of, like, he's such a great villain, and
Yeah,
everyone
but he
loves
was the
him.
villain in 2 movies.
All right.
So I think that like they're not going to keep.
Well, check
bringing-
this out. If you watch that scene again, the death scene, when shit goes down and Hulk comes, there's like a good chunk of time where you see everyone else, but Loki is missing. Loki's not standing in the spot that he was standing in when he said to Thanos, we have a Hulk, and Hulk runs out. He's gone. Like, there's a bunch of angles that you could look in the rooms. You could see, and he's gone. And even like when Banner's down, there's a moment where like Loki pops up from behind something. I'm like, dude, what the hell? You were hiding behind, like, were you just hiding behind there? Nah, he's too tricky for that, bro. Why would you see every other character but not Loki there? And why would he come out behind this like awkward angle? But then wait, there's more. Ben's shaking his head. He's not on board yet.
I'm not on board.
And here's why, though. But check this.
I think this is filming techniques that we're pointing out.
Okay, but hang on. But then, all right, riddle me this, Batman. At this point, when he goes to try to kill Thanos, right? The hand that he uses with the knife is not the same hand he uses with the knife in every other Thor movie.
Oh, really? We're going back and counting all other Thor movies?
Yes, someone went out there, and I'm going to trust the internet because I've seen a bunch of people with this.
Oh, I'm sure someone went out there.
And actually, I didn't go through.
I think this is just a coincidence.
I didn't go through to check this for myself, but I do believe it because, listen, the whole fact that I don't see him there is very suspicious.
So you think it's not Loki? But Loki wouldn't be able to stab Thanos without it being him. His holograms aren't capable of doing any damage. Because remember, there's plenty of times that
maybe he knew that Thanos would stop him, man.
So he's
just a trickster.
So he's gonna have a hologram of him try to stab Thanos.
Yes. But
it wouldn't do any damage.
It would get him out of there.
But he wouldn't
Loki's
have left
all about
Thor.
stuff. Yes, he would. Loki's all about stuff.
Well, if
Loki knew that Thor wasn't going to be killed, or like maybe he was hiding out, and when Thanos dipped, he's like, all right.
Because
I don't think he's dead. Listen, there's more. There's more. Well, then why the hell are we getting a Netflix series?
Because
or not Netflix. Why are we getting a Disney Network series?
It's going to be a prequel. It's not going to be post. I think it's going to be like him before.
So wait, let me ask you this then.
Maybe even in between Thor 1 and Thor Ragnarok.
I guess. So what if it's just Loki's time on Asgard pretending to be Odin? Oh, serious? It's like a comedy, actually.
Are they going to have Matt Damon in it?
Wait, but on that note, then, so would you say that the Scarlet Witch thing would be what?
See, that would be interesting because if Scarlet Witch was to be a prequel, she would be.
We already know her prequel.
Yeah, we already know
her story, right?
So I mean.
So you see what I'm saying? That
you think
there's
both
more
are going to be in the future.
I was less likely to think Scarlet Witch is coming back to life until this dropped about her own series. So now I think.
I mean, the only thing I have my biggest problem with bringing Loki back is that it completely changes the drama and like the impact of the beginning of Infinity War.
Well, let's, in all fairness, we're gonna bring back a whole bunch of freaking heroes,
yeah,
and that's not gonna take back. No, but that's not gonna take away from the impact that the movie had, because you got to separate the two movies. The impact that had.
You can't separate the two movies; they're interchangeable. They're both connected. I don't know. I think stories. I think we're seeing the middle of the story right now. Thanos. You never watch a single story where sometimes, but the importance of a story is that you have the beginning and to the middle is him collecting the Infinity Stones and then killing everyone. At the end is how the heroes come back and they win.
Here's the thing. We already know we're getting all these other heroes back. That doesn't change the ending of Infinity War where there's a snap.
That's
and
different
that moment
from the way
pulled out your heartstrings.
That's different because of the way they died. They died by the snap. It's the same thing. Didn't we discuss in the podcast of Avengers?
But if Vision
Infinity
comes
War
back, that would take away from Vision's death.
You really think Vision's coming back?
I think there's a good chance that they could make because in the comics, Vision dies several times and comes back.
Yeah, but he rips the Infinity Stone out of his head.
Yeah, but what if he doesn't need the Infinity Stone to survive and he comes back just as
Tony Stark and Bruce Banner are alive, so I can see that happening.
And Shuri downloaded all of that information.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. That's the point of it, is that now paint it in that picture. Sad, Vision died. Next movie. Holy crap, they made a new Vision. That's what I'm saying. It's not, I get it is their stories intertwined, but they're two kind of separate journeys.
I can see that.
That's what I'm saying.
I can understand that.
Two separate journeys.
I don't know. I think Loki's death was much more impactful than a lot of the other deaths in the film, except for Gamora. Loki's death and Gamora's death, I think, were the most impactful deaths. because
But here's the thing.
die by the
We
snap.
also know that there's a very, very, very good chance they're bringing Gamora back. And I don't think that's not going to take away from me what I felt in that moment when I saw that chick get thrown off that cliff.
And
Spoiler alert.
Well, we already did spoiler alert in our last episode.
No, just for the Avengers 4, spoiler alert. But Gamora gets chucked the hell off.
He shoves her.
Make sure you put a picture of her falling to her doom at this point. But anyway, that's why I'm saying, like, in that moment, that movie captured that feeling. Now, the next feeling I'm going to have in the next movie is, oh my God, they brought her back. How'd they bring her back? Is it if it's told well, I'm for it. I
guess that's the thing. Selling it well. Selling it well is important.
With the moment, this is what I mean by it. The moment that you see her reunited with Quinn, what do you think you're going to feel as a fan of those people, of those characters?
I might shed a tear.
That's why I'm saying there's two separate journeys going on, two separate feelings of these tones almost of these movies. I bet you they're going to be tonally different. I don't think we're going to walk away with. We're definitely not going to walk away from this feeling the way we did at the end of Avengers 3.
Yeah, I mean, the Loki was always an awesome character, and they definitely turned the B grade character into an A grade villain,
yeah, for sure.
Movie villain. So like to kill him off would be leave a vacuum for a villain that's needed there, even though he was a good guy in some of the movies. But like
now, on that thought of being in need of a villain, all right. So if they do remove a loved and awesome hated villain, this would be a perfect opening for your theory of what we might get with Avengers 4. Do you want to talk about this one?
Well, I got into an interesting conversation with someone else about once Thanos is defeated, okay? Like that whole entire aspect of the phase of MCU is gone. Thanos is defeated. It's probably not going to be coming back. You need a new big baddie. There's been a lot of speculation. Galactus is in the Time Stone. There's been talks of another Celestial coming back.
Can I say something on those 2 points?
Yeah.
I'm not really for either of those.
I completely agree.
I think it's too big of ideas.
You're branching too huge. So like introducing the Skrulls is cool, but that also introduces different side storylines.
Yes.
Galactus.
We'll get to Galactus.
Yeah. But
next, nah.
I think that Victor Von Doom would be an awesome villain.
Agreed.
You split up because they all defeat Thanos. Obviously, they're gonna have to split up the stones again. They're gonna have to do that. They're gonna be spread out. What if you have Doctor Doom coming in and like getting a hold or trying to get a hold of at least one of them? I think that like him doing the Time Stone and like maybe he erased half of like the Fantastic Four and Reed Richards has to like the messed up reality that is caused by Thanos getting all 6 of the Infinity Stones really messed with Reed Richards. So he's trying to rectify whatever the problem was. And
that'd be kind of cool.
And you have and you've already introduced his power because you with Doctor Strange, because Doctor Doom is basically Doctor Strange and Tony Stark put into one. He's a brilliant, rich guy who has the powers of the mystic arts.
Doesn't he own a country?
He did. He owned the country Galatia.
Yeah. So
yes, he did.
That's
he
cool.
owned a country.
Yeah, I would be in for Doom. I think that'd be the next right step. And then, like you said, it would introduce Fantastic Four, which we could see it already going down that route. And then from there, honestly, that's kind of where my mind kind of taps out on the future of this kind of current storyline. So
one thing I've learned from doing 9 podcasts with you ranging over various movies is that every time I think that the movie's going to be one way, it completely isn't.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's where some fans get upset because they want their expectations realized. And I just go into it and being like, all right, well, I'm going to see a good movie no matter what.
Yeah.
If it meets what I thought the story should be or not. So,
yeah. All right, that's it for Avengers 4. All right, just before we get out of here, I thought a cool little segment to do is something where we find something on the internet that we thought would be cool to share with you guys, whether it might be a hashtag or a video or whatever the hell it may be, and we call it Silver Surfing the Internet.
Hold on.
There's a really cool hashtag that you can check out on Instagram right now, and it's fun because we're about to get into Comic-Con season. It's called hashtag Becoming Marvel, and it's some really cool cosplay. And not only that, it's like families dressing up in cosplay. So check out this hashtag Becoming Marvel. There's some really awesome costumes out there from other Comic-Cons that went down, and just some other fans like you out there that have way more talent putting together creative costumes than I ever will. I usually go to Comic-Con just rocking like a Marvel t-shirt and take pictures with all the talented people. I wish I had time or patience or talent to make some amazing superhero or villain costumes. So check that hashtag out. And that was Silver Surfing the Internet. All right, and speaking of Comic-Con, that's coming up October 4th out here in New York City. Look forward to that. I'm probably going to go check out the Thursday date because I'm working all weekend. What else we got here, Ben? The next episode, we're going to talk about Venom next month, sometime in October. So make sure to subscribe. Also, make sure to share this, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We're trying to get more subscribers out there. So if you know a fanboy or fangirl that's into all the superhero stuff, want to hear two dudes talk about some theories and all the news on the net, hit us up at Infinite Universe Podcast on Instagram, also Infinite Unipod on Twitter, or Infinite Universe Podcast at Gmail. Again, next month, Venom will recap Comic-Con and also the new TV season. I'm excited for that. A whole bunch of good TV shows coming out. And check out all our other podcasts. We have some good episodes out there. If you haven't already, Teen Titans Go to the Movies. We got episodes on Han Solo. We got episodes on Deadpool. Obviously Avengers and a whole bunch of other Marvel and DC related topics. So check us out. Join us on iTunes Podcast or YouTube. Subscribe on both. Do us the favor. Anything else to add?
No, sounds good.
All right, well, that's it for this episode. And, of course, before we get out of here, if any of the statements or comments expressed in this podcast offended you, just know that although we may be a-holes, we are not 100% a dick. That's it for today's podcast. We're out of here. Until next time, I'm Jay Days.
I'm Ben Metlis.
Peace.